everybody, I'm the Lazy Quilter, and today we're going to be doing block 2 of the Block of the Month series, and we are going to be sewing this star today. Here I have the Batik color wave of the 2 colorways that we're doing in this class. I'll be sewing these particular pieces today, but there's also one available in the solids, and it is here. And you can really see what a difference your color choices make. Sometimes the colors that we choose completely change the way the block looks. And if you look behind me on the wall, there's yet another version of this block in different solid colors. Color is important, just to give you guys an idea of how color can affect you. Let's get started!
So every time I make a movie, I'm learning a new trick. So we're going to start marking a line from corner to corner on all of our Batik blocks. They should be blue, and the solid color wave, they'll be red. And just like last month, we're marking these tip to tip, and there should be 8 of them. Next, we're going to take those blocks and put them at one end of each of our neutral rectangles. You'll also have square rectangles in your kit as well, but we want the neutral ones. And pinning these in place. And we will have 4 altogether of these rectangles because we're making 4 flying geese. Keep in mind, batiks are very difficult to tell the right side from the wrong side. They're double dyed and dried in the sun, all that good stuff. So it makes it very difficult to tell. And really, it doesn't matter right sides or wrong sides. So don't overthink it too much and try to figure all that out. Next, we're going to be taking our pieces and laying everything out. Here's our middle block, and you can see I did cut mine so it would be straight. It is a lined fabric technically, so I did kind of fussy cut each one of these. And because they're so small, it's such a small square, it's not a long strip, I can do that. So a good little practice that I like to do when I'm doing just a block is to lay everything out the way it's going to look when it's finished. This helps when you're going to fold everything over and pin it into place. And if you have the room next to your sewing machine, it's a great way to be able to chain piece and still keep yourself straight. Because we're not sewing the same piece over and over and over again. Each section is kind of different, or there might be 4 of one thing instead of like 100 of one thing. So here's a great little tip. Okay, now that we have everything laid out, I'm gonna flip the fabric over so it's right sides together, and I'm gonna pin everything the way I'm going to sew it. So I'm flipping this blue square over, and I'm gonna pin it on the side that I'm supposed to sew because I don't want to forget which side I'm sewing, which I have done. And I'm gonna flip the other block on the opposite end. I'm going to do the same thing for the next 2 rows up. So the 2 red rectangles will flip onto that turquoise square, and so on and so forth. So next, we're going to sew down the line that we marked for our half square triangle. Remember, we did this before. You can use any foot. Just needs to be a straight stitch foot. I still have my 1/4 inch foot on because it has a nice gap that lines up. That I can see. You can see my yellow mark goes right in that nice gap, and I don't have to switch feet back and forth because there's no guide on this 1/4 inch, and that's one reason why I prefer it. So I'm going to stitch very carefully from corner to corner. Also, guys, remember, start in the middle of the block. See how I'm not starting where the 2 corners meet. I'm starting where the corner meets the middle of the rectangle. And I think I lost some audio there. Next, we're doing the squares to the rectangle, and that's just a 1/4 inch seam. Remember, we pinned these onto the red rectangle, and I'm just going to sew down using my 1.8 stitch length and chain piecing all these pieces. Because remember, you have 2 other rows besides this. We also pinned the red rectangles to the turquoise square, and so on. So now we're going to press these out. We're back at our flying geese, and I am just pulling. I'm leaving them right sides up, and I'm pulling that corner over and pressing it down. that's really the easiest way for me to do flying geese. I don't know about you guys, but I really like this technique. It helps you get the lip out. The number one thing that I see errors in pressing is when people press, there's a lip there, which means the fabric hasn't been pulled over far enough. That can really make or break your point. So now we have the 2 squares at the red rectangle, and I think I'm pressed towards the blue. You can tell I don't add the audio right after. Okay, I'm pressing towards the red. There's a reason why I'm pressing towards the red is because the other rows that I have, I'm going to press them in a certain direction so we can interlock their seams. Remember, that's a great way to get your seams to match up when you're doing a 9 patch or something like this. So the other piece that's looks exactly like this, you're going to press towards the red as well. So press towards the red fabric on your middle piece. So remember, those 2 outside pieces are pressed the other way. That'll help it interlock. So here we are. We put our other square at the other end of our rectangle, and we can see we want our line pointed in that direction. You want your lines intersecting, your seams intersecting. So if you do them both in the same way, it'll come out looking funny. So if you're not sure, just follow my video and put your fabric together just as I have it. And just like we did the other side, you're going to sew down the marked line all the way to the corner. And we don't start in the corner, we start in the middle. My machine has this really nice needle down function, so every time I stop, my needle is in the down position, and that helps to chain piece. So now we've got our rows together, and I'm going to lay them out again, keeping myself straight. It seems kind of, not necessary, but it helps. It helps keep a frazzled mind together. So we've pressed these in a certain way, so we're going to be able to interlock these seams, which is great for getting all this to measure up. One's pointing one way, one's pointing the other. So when you put these right sides together, you can actually feel them interlock and go together. That interlock is going to almost guarantee a meetup of seams. So I'm going to pull this close to the camera, I think. And you can see me work my fingers. I'm working it so I can actually feel those 2 pieces fit together. And once I feel them fit together, I'm going to stick some pins in this. Now, this is somewhere where you absolutely do want to pin if you want them to line up. So I actually pin one after and one before. The reason I do that is I don't like to pin directly in the seam. I like it to be held after the seam as well as before, just to keep everything from sliding. Now our flying geese are going to get some pieces on the edges of it. And we have 4 of these. We're going to do 2 one way and 2 the other. So take 2 of your flying geese and put these 2.5-inch blocks on either side. The neutral blocks. This is all you should have left, is the neutral blocks. And we're going to sew these using a quarter inch. And just like before, I'm going to do the flip technique where I lay it out and then flip it over how it's going to sew, stick a pin in there, keep myself straight. You guys can see I have to keep myself straight a lot. And we're going to do that for both of those. Now on the other flying geese, we're going to add different sized blocks to that. So I'm going to lay these out, and they are actually getting longer pieces on each side. These are 4.5 by 2.5. Not that I have a good memory, but quilting math gets pretty simple once you understand that. And I'm trying to put some videos out on that because I think the math is really, really fun in quilting. Alright, that's the end of part 1, block 2. Next one to come out next week. Won't take so long, this guys, I promise. So hope you enjoyed it. If you like like it, check out my other videos, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment or question below, and I'll see you next time.